Hi, it's now about the end of February 2018, and generally speaking, a lot of the references have called Easter as a time to consider preparing your carnivorous plants for the springtime, but of course, this year Easter is on April 1st, which is really too late to prepare anything for spring. So, being the end of February, I start preparing my carnivorous plants for springtime. I've removed most of my Venus flytrap from the refrigerator, which I kept there for 3 months during the wintertime. And I'll show you my Venus flytrap later on. But these terrariums, carnivorous plants, I've had them on artificial lights for about 10 hours, 12 hours during the wintertime, and it's time to increase that length of light to at least 14 hours. So we'll be doing that, and it's time to do a little cleanup or spring cleanup, so to speak. I've got a lot of sphagnum moss on my cephalotus. I'm gonna clean that up as well. So this is my preparation for spring. So as I'm preparing for springtime 2018, during the wintertime I had my timer from my terrarium lights turn on for about 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, from 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m., about 12 hours. So for the growing season, I'm going to increase my grow light from 12 hours to 14 hours. So again, just simply setting it for an extra 2 more hours, about 8 o'clock. So I'm giving it 14 hours of artificial light, and that's how I set for the growing season for 2018 summertime. So it was after Valentine's a couple of weeks ago, and I had these Venus flytrap basically stored in my refrigerator, in dormancy since Halloween of last year. Took them out, repotted them about a month ago, and I just keep it very simple. A drain pot in a pot with no drain, and I make sure I fill it with water. And of course, they're starting to wake up from their dormancy, and I'm just going to remove the top of their flower stalk so that I can have them focus growth on the traps and not on the flower. And I'm gonna let these guys grow a little longer. Usually I wait for a flower stalk to grow at least 2 to 4 inches before I cut off the top. And I do that to prevent, if you cut too early, then the plant may grow another flower stalk. Anyway, these guys are starting to wake up, and in another couple of months they'd be fully awake and more traps. Here are the other Venus flytrap that I took out of dormancy about a couple of weeks ago. So they're still waking up. And again, I have it in a drain pot in a surrounding pot with no drain, so they're always sitting in water. So now I've increased the timer on my light to now 14 hours for starting the spring. I've cleaned up my Venus flytrap outside in my little mini bog pots, clipped off their flower stalks, and for my cephalotus I pulled out some of the old sphagnum moss that was basically overgrowing my my cephalotus, excuse me, and I basically covered the top with sand that I purchased from Home Depot. I've also rinsed the sand and boiled the sand to kill any mold, fungus, and any algae that might be still on the sand. So this is a little easier to see the Cephalotus without all the green sphagnum growing around it. And we'll see how these guys do come back summer, and we'll see if there's any changes or improvement. Thank you for watching.